Hello, Steve again from St. Peter's, and I'd like to bring you another thought for the day. And this time I'd like to talk about a song that's relatively new. It's by Hillsong and it's called Who You Say I Am. It's a great song of declaration about what we as Christians are in this world. And I think sometimes we don't appreciate that. And what's more, it's a great worship song. It's got a good steady beat and a good melody, which is easy to learn. So I think it's a really great worship song. But I want to talk about some of the words that are in that song and what they really mean. Because it can be hard standing up for yourself and your beliefs in the secular world, be it amongst friends or at work. And it's probably even more difficult for younger people, for younger Christians at school or at university. Because people can ridicule you, they can make fun of you, and they can just ignore you. And that can be very painful when you're young or even when you're old. Because the desire to fit in is very strong with your peer group, and we want to be accepted by everybody, don't we? But what you really need to know is that these words, or the words of those people, doesn't matter. How they see you doesn't matter. What they say about you doesn't matter. What does matter is what God says about you, and that's what this song is all about. It says, I am what you say I am, and the you there means God. So I am what God says I am, and you are what God says you are. So what does God say you are? Well, the Bible is full of verses that show what God says you are, and probably the most famous verse in the whole Bible is John 3:16. So there God says that he loves you, so much so that he gave his only son to die for you, so that you could be saved. Elsewhere it says things like, when you accept Christ as your Saviour, you're born again into God's family and are a child of God. Other things are things like you're no longer a slave to sin. You're a friend of Jesus. You're accepted and you have a purpose. And in Revelation, it actually says that we will see his face. Wow. The song also has another line which goes, I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me and not against me. And also goes on to say that there's a place for me in my Father's house, which yet again shows what God says you are. You're part of the family of God. And what could be more natural than living in the same house as your family? So never doubt who you are, because God says you're part of his family. I really recommend the song to you. You can listen to it. There's 2 links below in the comments. One is played at a big Christian event somewhere. It's much like Spring Harvest. And the other is an unplugged version in the studio with just a couple of guitars and keyboard. Please listen to it, listen to the words especially. And if Heather is listening to this, I really want to bring this to St. Peter's. So thanks for listening, God bless, and stay safe.